Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you.
We're going to use all of these materials to make a spring sign. So the first thing we're going to start with is one of these wood rounds from the Dollar Tree. I love these things. I have trouble finding them sometimes, so I just bought a whole case of them off the website and picked it up at the store. Easy peasy, and they're so versatile. So first we're just going to take the hanger off, and then I found this beautiful fabric at Dollar Tree. It's like a light aqua color with these like salmon colored flowers all over, and this is exactly the kind of color scheme I want to go with today for these spring DIYs. So I just want to cover the wood round with this beautiful fabric. So to do that, I am just going to lay this down on the back of the fabric. I'm not going to iron it or anything like that. I think it'll be okay. And I'm just going to go around. I'm just going to use a yellow Sharpie just to kind of give me an outline of where to cut that out. Just holding that still. And I thought we could just Mod Podge the fabric onto it. It's going to give us a beautiful floral background. And then I want to use one of those little wood watering can signs from the Dollar Tree to make something really cute for spring. And here in Florida, it's kind of hard to know the seasons, but I am still ready for spring. Summer is my favorite, I think. Even though winter is nice because no bugs, right? So I cut that out and just laying that on top. Might be a little big just because I didn't iron it, but we can always trim it up later. But it looks good. It looks like it's going to cover like the entire wood round. So I'm just going to take some Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree and we are just going to attach it. Now, when I do fabric, I probably do like a thicker layer of Mod Podge than when I'm doing like paper or something like that. I really want it to attach to the fabric. I don't want this going anywhere. And I'm going to be building on the sign, so I do two pretty good coats of Mod Podge and then just lay that on there, just flattening it out. I'm not going to Mod Podge or anything on top. I like that fabric texture, but I'm just going to use a paper towel to like smooth that out, kind of soaking that into the material. And then I do have a little excess fabric here around the edges, and I'm just going to trim that off just as close to the edges as I can get with my fabric scissors. And we have a really pretty background going on this sign. Now, I didn't want to leave like the rough like fabric edges around there. I wanted to frame that out in some way. So I thought, I could probably do like a rope frame because the rope would kind of go with the like spring garden look that we're going with today. So I'm going to use like this thinner, like the brown rope. And we're just going to make just a super easy a brown rope frame around the edges of this. I kind of like the fact that it makes the sign look a little bit thicker too. I'm not a big fan of the thin signs. So I'm just going to start like probably in the center of the bottom. I kind of know where the hanger is on that, so I know what's top. And I'm just going to do a thin bead of hot glue and just attach that to the sign. I'm working on a silicone mat, so I don't have to worry about the hot glue sticking to that. If you're not, you're probably going to want to pick it up and kind of like sit it on the side, but this is going to give me a really nice clean edge here to my fabric. I love these signs. I do two of the watering can signs today, and I just love how they turned out. They were so much fun to put together. So working all the way around to the bottom and gluing that off. It looks pretty good. I like to kind of seal my two ends together, kind of make it less of a seam there if you can. And then I always like to burn the fuzzies off my rope just to clean it up a little bit. And I just do that with a lighter, just burning all the fuzzies off. Now the last thing I need to do to prepare this is to poke holes through the fabric. So just using one of those little Cricut weeders from the Dollar Tree, I'm just going to go in from the back and just poke holes in here. And we can make a new hanger. I thought we could incorporate some of these cute white wood beads from the Dollar Tree. I love that they're carrying those now. And then just some of the Dollar Tree thin twine. I like to go in through the back and tie off in the front. I find that the Dollar Tree signs like hang flatter against my wall like that, so that's what we're going to do here. I'm not going to bead the entire thing. I just wanted a few beads, so I'm going to do like 2 white beads like on each side of the hanger, so a total of 4, just to give a little fun to the hanger. I'm not a big fan of the hangers that they come with, because again, I don't think it hangs very flat with the little thing on it on the back. Okay, so this is the little watering can sign that I want to attach to that. It fits on there perfectly. It definitely fits inside like the rope border, and I love that background. Now, since I want to do like that turquoise color and salmon color, I am going to do the water can in the salmon color. This is just an acrylic paint that I had. I did find that this sign was a little difficult to paint because I had to use a brush to get down in all between all of like the letters and the flowers, and you don't want to get too much paint because it like pools around the letters. I did have to go in with a smaller brush too to kind of get in between all those letters, but I finally got it painted. And then I want to kind of stain all of the raised wood on there. So I'm just doing that with some Antique Wax by Waverly and a little makeup sponge and just dragging that over. If I get any on the watering can, that's fine because I can just use that to distress it. I want the watering can to look old and used. I thought about staining the whole watering can in this color and kind of making it look like a rusty watering can, but I really wanted to use some fun springy colors today. That's why I went with the salmon color. So I'm just going over the flowers and the letters, trying to give that stained wood background. At first, I thought about like leaving it just like that, but then I thought it wasn't real, the details weren't really being brought out, and I thought it was a little hard to read. So I'm just distressing it with just a chunky brush from Dollar Tree and some ivory acrylic paint to try to bring out some details, kind of going over it with a baby wipe as well, and just distressing the watering can too. I love that distressed look. And this is what it looks like so far. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the watering can to our beautiful background there just by using some hot glue on the back and laying that down. I found that it attached pretty well, even though you are doing it on a fabric surface. I got that fabric down pretty good. Now I want to cover that little hole there on the top, and so I'm just going to take some of that twine from the Dollar Tree and just do a very simple little bow. This is always my trick to cover those holes. I think it adds a cute little detail, and it's easier than trying to fill them with spackle and sand and all that kind of stuff. So just trying to get it sized appropriately. Just want a little tiny bow. And it's always better than leaving those holes unfilled. That drives me crazy. Now, I got to this point and I was pretty happy with it, but I thought that it was a little hard to read. So I started distressing it more with some ivory to try to brighten it up. And I do like that more. I guess you could paint all of it white and then distress it. I'm kind of going in the reverse direction by staining it and then making it white. But I did have to go over it a couple of times to brighten that up. I do like that wood stain coming through, but I just thought it was not very bright and that it was kind of hard to read with the wood. So it's going to be mostly ivory. So I'm just going to go over all of that, letting some of that shine through for sure. And I think that really brightened it up, and I was much happier with it, with the bright white compared to just the brown wood.
And I kind of like the shabby chic vibes on that little watering can, but I love the little items like this that you can find with the spring garden section at Dollar Tree to craft with. Really fun, and I absolutely adore that fabric that is there on the back. I'm also going to DIY a coordinating wood round to go with this as well.